They say a hefty price tag weighs players down, and this holds true for Harry Maguire, whose performances have never justified the outlay. Just like improvement, regression is also a process, and Maguire's downfall has been quite the exemplary process. All players make mistakes, but when a defender makes one, you bet it can be disastrous. Throughout the previous campaign, we saw numerous games where the England centre-back was easily dispossessed in areas where you'd expect a decent defender to take control of the situation. Always puzzled in defence and quite slow to react, Maguire had already become a laughingstock in the football community, and there were tons of memes dedicated to his inability to act like a centre-back and leader of the United locker room. But could this be the only reason the Manchester United captain is hated by the wider football community? How about you stick around and find out? Now, let's remind ourselves just how much Maguire is hated, just in case you didn't know. So coach Gareth Southgate called up Harry Maguire instead of Arsenal's Ben White to the England squad for the last international break. And that was met with shock and hostile reactions from the football community. Fans weren't having any of it, so they took to Twitter to express their dissatisfaction. One tweet read, "Harry Maguire ahead of Ben White? Are you serious? Because of this, England will not go far." Another tweeted, "Ben White is 100 times better than Maguire in every footballing aspect. Southgate is so dumb." And when you thought you had seen the last of the hostile reactions, another tweeted, "How can Ben White not be in the England squad and Harry Maguire is? That's an absolutely ridiculous decision." But what's more ridiculous is the fact that when his name was read out during the warm-up for the game against Germany at Wembley, he was booed loudly by his home fans. And when he was coming out of the tunnel with the other players, he was once again booed and whistled by fans. The argument that the Three Lions coach made an error did hold water because since the start of the season, Ben White has been pretty impressive and was definitely head and shoulders above Maguire. On the other hand, Maguire was having a very bad time prior to being called up, which tells you virtually everything you need to know. However, Southgate completely ignored all of that and picked Maguire over White, and the result was apologies from the 29-year-old centre-back after a lacklustre performance for his national team. Harry Maguire was clearly at fault for Germany's opening goal, as he not only gave the ball away in the build-up, but went on to bring down Jamal Musiala inside England's box to concede a penalty. He issued an apology on Instagram stating, "Mistakes are part of the game. I apologize. Great fight back and spirit to get us back into the game by the lads. Take the positives and look forward to Qatar. The tough times will make us stronger." Maguire knew for sure fans would come for his head, so he limited comments on the post. Of course, the hate didn't start today. If you recall, some psychotic fanatics went a little overboard by sending bomb threats to Maguire's home, prompting him to involve the police. We could go on and on about different instances to show he is one of the most despised men in the world of football right now, but the point is, nobody likes Maguire, and as such, he is now a meme on social media and has been ridiculed for some time now. Pundits are always criticizing him, including former Manchester United players. Even the price of which he was bought didn't help him from the start. Manchester United paid a humongous amount of £80 million for the centre-back in 2019, making him the most expensive defender in the world, breaking Liverpool's £75 million signing of Virgil van Dijk, and that on its own was always going to put immense pressure on the 29-year-old, and not many can perform under that kind of stress. You see, the logic was that if Van Dijk could take Liverpool to the Champions League final in less than 6 months, then Maguire, who was worth more than £75 million, could do the same for his club. So when he didn't meet the expectation, little mistakes he would make, which is quite normal for defenders, would immediately be blown out of proportion, all because of the price tag. I like to think that if he had been bought for a far lower price, he probably wouldn't have received this much hate. However, to be frank, Maguire hasn't exactly helped himself, as he tends to choose the biggest games to make the costliest blunders. He made one in United's first Champions League game this season and 4 in a game against his former club Leicester City. And that's not all of them, they're just a few of the most memorable ones. And the appalling part is that he makes these errors while still maintaining a pretty big ego, which only further infuriates fans. Many see him as a pompous player, and that was sort of proven when he was arrested in Greece and kept saying to the police, "Do you know who I am?" Because of this arrogant attitude, many fans find it hard to pity him, even when he's been scapegoated by the media. You see, you can obviously forgive players for not having great leadership skills and underperforming, but what cannot be tolerated is if the player is leaking information and ends up liking a social media post aimed at a player he shares the dressing room with. And yes, the Englishman did that too. Sport Bible made a post on Instagram about how unhappy Cristiano Ronaldo was for taking a 25% pay cut because his team failed to qualify for the Champions League. Surprisingly, Maguire decided to like the Instagram post. Although the player's entourage would later claim it was a mistake, fans already knew how that works. If the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner does end up leaving United, we're certain that Maguire will be the happiest man in Carrington. Notwithstanding, Southgate has stated that Maguire will be part of his World Cup squad later this year and even called the out-of-favour Man United star one of his best players. He is our most dominant aerial centre-back. Him and John Stones are incredible with the ball. It means there is a huge amount more pressure on our centre-backs to use the ball well, and those two are as good as any in world football at doing that, said Southgate. However, Harry Maguire still has a few years left on his contract with United and a new manager who could improve parts of his game. But the question is, can he change his mentality? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And again, if you enjoyed our video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. For now, have a great day and we'll see you in the next one.